given to the committee members as a bribe to influence their decision. I have to inform you of your right to counsel. You have a right to a law of your choice. Do you intend to exercise that right?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Agyarko, I need to then ask you a few questions.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But before I ask you the questions, our terms of reference, one of our terms of reference is that the first Deputy Speaker, Honorable Joseph Oseusu, took money from you, the Energy Minister, Honorable Boakye Agyarko, to be given and gave it to the Minority Chief with Alhaji Mubarak Mohammed Mutaka. What do you say about this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for the invitation and also express my appreciation to the fact that this has been televised live for the entire nation to be witnesses and party to this all-important proceedings. Mr. Chairman, to your question, I will state categorically without a fear of contradiction that I have never contrived, discussed, or given any money to the First Deputy Speaker, Honorable Joe Osei-Wusu, for said purposes, namely to influence members of the committee to weigh a decision in my favor.
You appeared before the Appointments Committee, and at a certain point in time, you were informed that, well, you informed of the decision at a certain point in time before it came to the knowledge of the general public. I said, when you appeared before the Appointments Committee, were you informed of their decision? Or were you informed of the fact that they hadn't arrived at a unanimous decision with regards to your nomination as Energy Minister? Were you informed about that fact?
When I appeared before the...
Subsequent to your appearing before them?
Subsequent to that, the first time I was told that the committee was holding up was Friday morning, I believe.
Who told you?
Mr. Chairman, the Speaker of Parliament called me to say that the Appointments Committee said they were short on the documentation I had presented as requested, and therefore directed me to go to the office of the First Deputy Speaker to make up for the documents that were short. That is when I found out that a decision was on hold.
When you appeared before the committee, did they ask you to provide further documentation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And as of that Friday morning, you had not provided that documentation?
Mr. Chairman, I had provided all the documentation to the registry or to the office of the Appointment Committee before that Friday.
So you went to the First Deputy Speaker's office, and then what happened?
I went there with the set of documentation that I had. He was not in his office, and I sat down and with the help of a director of the ministry, marked the specific pages that were required by the committee.
What time was this?
It was in the morning.
About what time?
If I may hazard, it was probably around 10 o'clock, thereabouts.
And when you finished, then what did you do?
After I marked the documents and by which time the Honorable Joe Osei-Wusu had arrived in his office, I sat with him, showed him the relevant pages, the aid memoir, and all the reports. After marking them, I left.
Did you hear from him or from any member of parliament or the committee again after that?
None of them.
you later on came into Parliament. The evidence before us shows that you later on came into Parliament, into the Speaker's lobby.
Mr. Chairman, whilst we were at the Flagstaff House waiting to be sworn in, a call came in that requested both the Honorable Senior Minister and myself to present ourselves again to clarify some matters that had arisen. And so the two of us came to the Speaker's chamber.
The Speaker's lobby?
The Speaker's lobby, sorry.
When you came there, what happened?
Upon our arrival, some members of the committee joined in and raised some matters with us. Specifically with me, they raised 3 questions, if I recall. One had to do with the debt status of the SOEs in the energy sector, the state-owned enterprises in the energy sector. The second had to do with the question of whether we had 1 or 3 FSRUs, floating storage regasification units. And the third had to do with the figurative language I had used in respect of President John Mahama, namely that the World Bank was breathing down his neck.
And what happened?
On the first matter, I gave them an explanation that I believe was satisfactory, namely that the numbers were the numbers as I had been given them by the ministry. On the second matter, I had provided them with 3 contracts relating to 3 different FSRUs. And on the final matter, it was a matter of language bordering on sentiments, which I felt comfortable withdrawing.
So after that engagement with them or interaction with them, were you giving any assurance that it was satisfactory, or what happened after that?
Mr. Chairman, the members therein assembled agreed that we had acquitted ourselves of the matter and agreed that we should be passed by consensus, and therefore granted us leave.
So you were acquitted and discharged?
In so many words.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Honorable Minister, committee, sorry.
Have you finished with your evidence? Is there anything you want to add?
Only to state for the records that, Mr. Chairman, at no point from my vetting did I feel that my confirmation of my nomination was at risk. I therefore had no motive whatsoever to engage in influencing anybody. On the matter of a constitutional requirement, I believe myself qualified. On the second matter of my vetting, respectfully, I do not think I performed poorly. On the third matter of committee decision, I was convinced that with a 16-10 majority, that my party had the numbers to pass me. And even if it came to the plenary and push came to shove, that we could ride roughshod over everybody else to confirm my nomination. So I had no motive whatsoever to influence or attempt to influence anybody with regards to my confirmation.
Honorable Mr. Boakye Agyarko, you said some members of the Appointments Committee joined you at the Speaker's lobby. Do you recollect some of the members that joined you at the Speaker's lobby?
Mr. Chairman, My misfortune is that I do not know a lot of the persons that are on the committee. Indeed, I was oblivious of the identities of many of them. However, I recall Honorable Muntaka. I also recall the Honorable Haruna Idrisu. I believe Honorable Okujato was there. Honorable Oseiusu was also there. And I believe at one point, Honorable John Jinapo also walked in.
Now, you said the Speaker invited you to go to see the first Deputy Speaker in his office.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Were you at any time, prior to the time you had indication that you were going to be approved, were you at any time informed that recommendation for your approval was on hold by Parliament?
I do not recall Parliament informing me that personally or directly, that my nomination was on hold.
Was your nomination on hold, or it was by majority? Was it on hold, or it was it ever on hold?
Explain it.
Mr. Chairman, it was when the first batch was confirmed that I heard, I do not recall exactly who, saying that both myself and Honorable Yao Osafumafo would not be part of the first batch. But at that point, I wasn't, it was not my thinking that I was going to be disapproved. I did not get any sense whatsoever that I was not going to be qualified. I just took it that for whatever the reasons, I was not part of the first batch to be sworn in.
Now, you heard these allegations flying everywhere in the media that you attempted to bribe the appointments committee, or that you gave money to the Honorable Joe Oseiusu to be given to members of the appointments committee. Was there anything that you did after hearing these allegations in the media?
Mr. Chairman, it was on leaving the Speaker's chamber that evening that
The Speaker's lobby.
the Speaker's lobby. Forgive me.
Forgive me, but in Parliament we are very particular about this.
Mr. Chairman, I see so.
Yes.
It was on leaving the Speaker's lobby. On my way back, my phone kept ringing, a number that I did not know. So I did not pick until I got to the Flagstaff House, and there was a horde of newsmen, each trying to thrust a microphone in my face, asking about my attempt or an allegation to bribe somebody. I felt incredulous about the matter. And all I said was that without a fear of contradiction, I had done no such thing, would do no such thing, because I had no need or no motive to do any such thing. After that press interaction, I had nothing else to say on the matter.
And you never considered it an option to issue a rejoinder to any of the media houses that peddled on these allegations?
Night by about 10 or 11 media houses. I felt that I had sufficiently responded to the matter. I was also of the opinion that this matter was so outlandish that it would fall on its own face. Maybe I misjudged it or misinterpreted the sentiment behind it. But it was not a written rejoinder. I had done about 10 or 11 interviews that very night on various radio stations. So I believe my point was heard.
"36 of you appeared before the vetting committee. And out of the 36, you alone were mentioned in this scandal. Is there any motive that you suspect could have brought about this scandal?"
Mr. Chairman?
Well, give me a minute to decide whether we'll allow the question. And even though I have the right to allow the question or not to allow it, I usually confer with my colleagues in a democratic fashion. So give us a minute, please.
I have just one question for you.
Honorable member, by you, I think you speak for yourself.
Oh, by me?
Yes, not for all of us. We will look at it.
It's well understood by me.
Okay.
And it's straightforward. I have one question for you. What you have said so far, in effect, is that you never gave any money to Honorable Joseph Osei-Usu to be given to anybody to influence the appointment committee.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I would like to find out once again, I know you've responded, but did you ever try to give money out to any committee member?
Mr. Chairman, categorically no.
So, from the previous witnesses, they heard about this news, I think, right from midday on Friday, the 27th. When did you hear about this bribery?
Mr. Chair.
Allegation, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, as I said, it was on my way from the Speaker's lobby that I started getting these calls. I don't do social media, and the whole of that day, I was ensconced in the offices of the Ministry of Finance. It was only on my way back that I started getting these phone calls. And it was when I got into the lobby of the Flagstaff House that I was first confronted with the matter.
Agyarko, thank you for attending to this committee. You are discharged, but with a caution that please don't engage in more rejoinders with the press. If they call you, turn it down. The 9 is enough. Now that you've appeared before the committee, the Speaker directs that we inform you that you should hold your peace until the report comes out. The report, this committee will finish its report and give it to Parliament. Parliament will debate it and come to its conclusions. At this stage, you can just say thank you for attending to us.
Will be respectfully obeyed, most grateful.
And I've been also reminded to remind you of Order 2021. By Wednesday, the transcript of what you have said before us will be given to you. You will go through it and check whether there are any inaccuracies. If there are any inaccuracies, you bring it to our attention, and we shall correct the transcript. Thank you very much once more.
Most grateful.
You are discharged.